it's fun to have people learn about being Jewish and go, oh, we have something like that.
Right.
And I also I love the lesson that we all make mistakes, and it's the choices that you make to correct those mistakes that really matter. And that's such a, it's a coming of age lesson, but coming of age is cyclical. We learn that as adults as well.
You're so not invited to my bar mitzvah. It is so funny and relatable. This is the one thing I loved about the film, is that it is a coming of age story with a young audience in mind, but it's so relatable to me as well, because it just brings me back to like that middle school era of that awkwardness that we're all in. How did this film come about for you?
So really, it came from Sandler. I had just come off finishing my first feature, Crush, and Sandler was looking for a young Jewish director who could relate to the kids, who had some experience in this world and could relate to the story, and kind of wanted someone to just tell this through a modern lens. And then he reached out to me. We met, we talked about the movie, awkward coming of age experiences, being Jewish, and how we both listen to kids because they know what's really cool. And the pieces fell into place from there.
Can you talk about collaborating with Adam? Because he's not only a producer in this film, but he's also acting alongside his daughters in this. He's comedic, but he's also, a stern father. Can you just talk about working with him on this one?
I mean, he's the best. I want to make movies with him for the rest of my life. He's super involved in every step of the process, and I kind of wouldn't have it any other way. It makes it fun. This doesn't feel like work to me. It felt like I was kind of back home in high school making movies with my best friend. It's collaborative. I think the biggest thing is there was this mutual sense of trust. I think, like I mentioned, we both understand that kids are the litmus test here and they know what's cool. So we really there's a lot of, you humble yourself when you go, I know that I'm a little, even me being in my 30s, we both know, okay, we can tell a really good story and we can bring a lot. And we also trust these kids to also be our guide in a weird way. But I mean, Sandler's kind of the best. He's, like I said, there was this mutual sense of trust. He really trusted me. I felt totally safe bringing things to him. He also pushes me to be the best version of me. And likewise, and I think sort of he's like a coach, right? He knows when to push and he knows when to hop in and guide the team. And then he knows when to take a step back and let everything do its thing. And as an actor, I mean, he's the GOAT. He's the best. He's so incredibly endearing and funny and relatable in this movie. And it's such a part of the DNA of the heart of, bat mitzvah.
He's so great in this film. Speaking of that, Sammi Sandler, she is phenomenal. She really carries this film. What did she bring to the role of Stacy that wasn't on the page?
Oh man, I mean, a ton. I think a level of authenticity. She felt so real. She really brought, she's an incredible actor and can really take what's on the page and make it feel, real in every way. But I think she brings her own experience. I think she was really able to, I'll even say her and Sadie, Jordy is our costume designer. We talked to them about what are kids really wearing? Where do you shop? What music do you listen to? Everything I did, went through the filter of Sunny, Sadie, everyone. But I think she's got, Sunny in particular, she's got this free-spirited nature, a natural silliness that elicits moments of charming vulnerability. It makes her lovable, relatable, the kind of person you still root for, even when she's making bad choices. So she really brought, I think that to the role, this lovable, very sweet, charming, real, very real, authentic human being that you don't get to see often.
Absolutely. Now, you're right. Sunny and Sadie both, they feel like, obviously they're sisters, but that lived-in sisterhood that they actually share really translates on screen so well. Their chemistry is phenomenal. Speaking of chemistry, can you talk about developing the chemistry between Sunny and Samantha Lorraine, who plays Lydia?
Yeah, I mean, their chemistry is kind of undeniable. They're I call them little platonic soulmates, the kind of best friends that make you nostalgic for your own. They right away in the chemistry reads and the auditions, they just had it right then and there. And so I think I continued to foster a real friendship off screen. I'm really big on world building. We did a ton of improv and building out these kids' entire lives because they've known each other since they were little tiny 4-year-olds in the context of the film. but yeah, we sort of like built their life experience. But like, I'll tell you, the peek behind the curtain is during auditions, the scene that they read, phenomenal. But what was going on before and after, when they were just chatting, we had to do it on Zoom, but when they were just chatting that first read through, I went, oh, they're connecting as human beings. And that sealed it. Like the scene was enough, but that really just like sealed the deal.
Bar mitzvah is such an important milestone in a young person's life. How do you approach capturing that significant event while also infusing humor and relatability to it?
I think we never wanted to shy away from like, you know, the sort of like bigger and heavier, in a good way, parts of like this coming of age ceremony and the work that goes in. But I mean, I think we just approached it authentically. I think like for Stacey, Judaism and the bat mitzvah is one piece of this puzzle, adolescence, and adolescence itself is like a big roller coaster. It's like highs, lows, exciting. Most of the time you're having fun, but sometimes you're like, I'm going to die. And that's being 13. And a part of being 13 for a Jewish kid is this bat mitzvah. So I think we just really wanted to embrace all of these facets of Stacey's life because she's a multifaceted human being and not just Jewish and not just in middle school. So it's just about kind of striking a balance between everything.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention too, Adina. She's phenomenal in this film.
Yes.
Can you talk about working with her?
Yeah, I mean, Adina is like Adam loved working with her. They obviously had done Uncut Gems together. And I think what I learned from him is like success isn't just making a movie. Success is making a movie with people you love. And Adina is so beloved by the Sandlers and myself. And I mean, she's a joy to work with. She's great with the kids. She's got this very like motherly caretaking nature. She also just like is such a delight and fun. There was a day where we were shooting in the Friedman house and I hear just like this beautiful wafting singing coming from upstairs. And I walk in and she and the kids, four of the kids, are just riffing a cappella and she just brings such a warmth to set. And I think it really translates. And she's a mom herself and a very talented human being. And so we really just lucked out with her in so many ways.
Now, the film setting, a bat mitzvah celebration, offers a unique backdrop for the story. What specific elements or details did you incorporate to make the event feel authentic and memorable for the audience?
I grew up going to bar and bat mitzvahs. For like 6 years. I have two younger siblings. So I have a ton of personal life experience. Funny enough, right before the making of bat mitzvah, Sammi Sandler had her actual bat mitzvah. So I went to her ceremony. We had the party. It was such a beautiful, life mirrors movie moment. And we got to kind of take a lot of that into the making of this. It felt like such a natural progression, and then the sort of nuts and bolts, we also did a ton of research when we shot in Toronto and when we were on the ground. I've been to a ton of these things, but I wanted to make sure we were representing like what they feel like today, right now. So we went to a ton of bar and bat mitzvahs. What are the kids wearing? Is the music still the same? Some of it's the exact same. Some of it's, brand spanking new. So it was a lot of research just to make sure we were, finding the details that were more relevant to today's bat mitzvah world. But a lot of it just comes from personal experience for me.
This is the last question. The film's tagline mentions friendship, family, and finding your place. Can you elaborate on how these themes play out through the story and what message you hope viewers take away from it?
Learning about how you are in the world and who you want to become. It's a very Jewish experience, right? But it's also a universal experience.
Absolutely.
We all go through that. So I think my hope is that audiences start to embrace our differences by celebrating our similarities in that way. And it's fun to have people learn about being Jewish and go, oh, we have something like that.
Right.
And I also I love the lesson that we all make mistakes, and it's the choices that you make to correct those mistakes that really matter. And that's such it's a coming of age lesson, but coming of age is cyclical. We learn that as adults as well. So I think that's what I hope people take away.
Look, I have an 8-year-old that deals with school stuff too with her friends. I want her to watch this movie to navigate how those friendships kind of play out and how you can move through those things, even though, you butt heads from time to time. But Sammi, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. The film is hilarious and it's a great film. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.